Hey guys, and welcome to episode 9. So in this episode we are in Hobart, but right now, as you can see over my shoulder, we're actually in Melbourne. So we're running a little bit behind on our vids. We are trying to catch up. We're in Melbourne for a couple of weeks before we get back on the road again. Melbourne is technically our base city, but we won't be seeing it again for quite some time. So Hobart, we stayed at the Valley Campground in Crabtree down in the Huon Valley. We caught up with family at Willie Smith's Cider Bar and Restaurant, which is pretty cool. Apple pie is just awesome. In Hobart, which is only about 25 minutes from Valley Campground and well worth the place to stay and base yourself. In Hobart, we went to Salamanca Market, which is definitely on Sam's bucket list. Battery Point, Constitution Dock, the Tasmanian Museum, particularly for the Antarctic exhibition. Cascade Brewery, up to Mount Wellington. I think that's pretty much what we covered, but anyway, it's all in the footage. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff, and comment. Love all the comments. Guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Heading out on our own with our hope in the clouds. We're starting to see that we're onto something. Feel it coming now. Here we go. All we need is an open road and a chance to see a never-ending world that's beautiful. Here we go with the sunlight on our skin. It's a brand new day. It's ours to take and we will let it in. This is where the adventure begins.
Cheers, honey. Cheers. And this is how you do it when you live in the dream. We'll show you this around this campsite shortly. Valley Campground in the Huon Valley. It is smick.
The
Great.
vibe is amazing. It's just cool, chilled, relaxed feeling.
So you can see it, the nice grass sites. You can see the fire pit in the background there. Power, water. We haven't even stayed a night here and we want to stay longer already.
Yeah, vibe is really good.
We'll show you around soon. Cheers.
Valley Campground is a tranquil private camping ground south of Hobart.
What do we got, honey?
Thyme,
Thyme,
basil,
basil,
coriander.
coriander,
Not sure what that one is. It's got-
what's that?
I'm not sure what this one is.
Yeah, what was the other one?
This one here?
Yeah.
Rosemary,
Rosemary,
chives.
chives,
Looks for like celery that's, not celery, parsley that's gone to seed.
parsley,
Got another different type of parsley here, more chives or rosemary.
what about over here?
Oh, we've got more.
Yep, we've got more.
I've got more coriander.
Yep.
I've got mint
Mint, coriander,
and more thyme, basil.
thyme, basil.
All your Italian herbs.
How good's that? Just help yourself.
Yeah,
Herb garden.
amazing. So pretty. So, and they're in bathtubs. Did you just realise? They're all in a bathtub. How cute is that? Set yourself up on a grass site bordered by native shrubs, listen to the river running by, and enjoy a place alive with Tasmanian wildlife. Take yourself for a short stroll along the riverbank, light a fire pot, and spend an evening relaxing with family and friends under the magical southern night sky. Valley Campground is an ideal stopover location for self-contained campers, touring cyclists, or families with vans or tents who are keen to explore and enjoy the beautiful Huon Valley and beyond. Valley Campground, it's camping the way it should be.
Apples have been grown in the Huon Valley in Tasmania for over 170 years. It was common for early European settlers to plant just one variety of each tree in order to establish a family orchard, a practice that laid the foundations for a booming apple industry. A peak in the middle of the 20th century saw Tasmania export millions of boxes of apples overseas, primarily to the UK and Europe. It's a history that gave rise to Tasmania's nickname, the Apple Isle. An old apple packing shed built in 1942 and full of character, the apple shed is home to Willie Smith's award-winning ciders. Just 25 minutes south of Hobart in the Huon Valley, the shed is a stone's throw from the Smith family's apple orchard. With its rich soil and pure water, William Smith picked this perfect valley to grow apples back in 1888, and it's still farmed today by his great-grandson, Andrew Smith. And Andrew founded Australia's first certified organic cidery, William Smith's Cider Makers, which is all about authentic cider showcasing the apples that Andrew grows. Think French farmhouse style blends, bone dry English styles and limited releases using heirloom cider apples, real cider. A hive of activity year round, the cider house is also home to Charles Oates Distillery, named after Willie's father-in-law, the first member of the family drawn to the Huon. The team distill apple spirits on site, including Pommeau and brandy, a Tassie take on a French tradition. The Alembic Charente still is one to behold, handmade in Tasmania based on a 16th century cognac still from France. It is the only one of its kind in Australia.
Located in historic Salamanca Place, next to the Hobart waterfront, the Salamanca Market has over 300 stallholders and operates every Saturday between 8:30am and 3pm. Tasmania's biggest selection of locally made produce can be explored, including hand-worked glass, Tasmanian timbers, stylish clothing, jewellery, fresh produce, artworks, bath and body care, ceramics, leather goods, cheese, breads, wines, spirits and hot foods. The first market was held on Saturday the 2nd of November 1971 and was such a success that it remained to grow ever since. Salamanca Market has become Tasmania's most visited tourist venue, attracting between 25,000 and 40,000 visitors every Saturday.
Cascade Brewery was established in 1824 in South Hobart, Tasmania, and is the oldest continually operating brewery in Australia. It did start life as a sawmill, which began in 1825, and the brewery didn't start operation technically until 1832. As well as beer, the site also produces a range of non-alcoholic products on behalf of its division owner, Coca-Cola Amatil, who took over in 2013. Carlton United Breweries purchased Cascade Beer and the Cascade Brewery in 1994 for $27 million, and subsequently in 2020, Carlton United Breweries were taken over by the Japanese conglomerate Asahi Group for a whopping $16 billion. We've just completed the Cascade Brewery tour, and now we're going to do some tasting. This will be interesting given that Sammy's not a big beer drinker. And this is our tour guide. Zach, my bad. So Zach, it's actually basically a personalised tour. They can take up to 15 people, but we've got to go around just us. Okay, so Sammy's not a big beer drinker, but here we go. This is the pale ale. Yeah, you got to wash it down. Okay. Let's go back to the first one and wash it down.
Seriously, you had to make me do that.
Okay, Hunt, so we've had 4 in the paddle. Out of those, what one would you drink and which ones wouldn't you drink?
This one down here,
The pale ale.
one I will not drink.
Would that be the one that you cringed on just before?
Shut it on. Oh yeah. Seriously.
Okay, so you drink the other 3?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
That one would be really nice on a hot summer's day.
Yeah.
Because that was easy drinking. That one's a little bit sweeter. And yeah, I guess probably great also on a hot summer's day. That one,
The stout.
I like it. But I don't know when I'd drink it.
And what does the stout taste like?
Chocolate. Coffee.
Yeah, I thought it was more like a cold black coffee. It's what
I expected it to be a bit more thicker in texture, but
yeah, it's not a kick in your teeth stout. It's actually quite mild,
Yeah.
even though it's 6%. But the beers are actually pretty good. And how good was Zach on the tour?
it was amazing.
And it was one-on-one.
Yeah, one-on-one. So yeah, just it was a bit more personalised. You could answer questions as we were going rather than holding those questions to the end. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, so the
So informative. Even though I don't like beer, I found it very interesting.
Just to wander around. It's interesting. So Carlton United Breweries own Cascade now, and they actually make some of the beers from some of the other brands. So you've got Great Northern is for Tasmania, is brewed in Tasmania, and using Tasmanian water means that the Great Northern beer in Tasmania tastes different to the Great Northern up in Queensland. So that was really interesting.
What is the only difference?
Water's the key, and that's and they make it down here to save on transport costs. That was really interesting. The other interesting thing was you'll see in the footage that that bell outside. They used to toll that bell 4 times a day for 15 minutes. All the guys, the brewers, could all stop work, and they had 15 minutes to drink as much as they could,
And then
return back to work. And there was only one recorded accident. It was a guy fell down the lift shaft. But how's that? 4 times a day for 15 minutes, they could drink as much as they can and then return back to work. Until 1993, when Carlton United Breweries took over Cascade Brewery, they put a stop to that. And needless to say, the brewers then went on strike. So that was actually very funny. But they came to a compromise, so they have Friday smokos, knock off early. They can go over and
4:30, and then they can drink as much
as they want, and then take a slab home. Yeah,
And
take a slab
take
home.
A slab home.
Yep. So that was the
And it
compromise.
didn't have to be the Cascades. They could, whatever they're brewing at the time, if
Yep.
that's what they like, they could take that slab home.
It was pretty cool.
So good compromise.
Yeah.
Put your alcohol covered for the week.
Right, so that was the Cascade Brewery tour. $35 per head, goes for about an hour. They do run an historical tour as well, which actually doesn't go into the brewery, but it takes in more of the grounds and the older buildings. They're not running those at the moment. So Sam and I have just finished the brewery tour, had a bit of a tasting, and now we're going to go and have lunch over in the Cascade bar. Cheers, guys.
More alcohol.
Mount Wellington, or Kanunyi, as known to the local Aboriginal people, is the summit of the Wellington Range, and Hobart, Tasmania's capital city, is located at the foot of this mountain. Mount Wellington rises to 1,271 metres above sea level and is frequently covered by snow, sometimes even in summer, and the lower slopes are thickly forested but crisscrossed by many walking tracks and a few fire trails. There is a narrow sealed road to the summit, and an enclosed lookout near the summit has views of the city below and to the east. The most distinctive feature of Mount Wellington is the cliff of dolerite columns known as the organ pipes.
Cascades Female Factory is a former workhouse for female convicts transported to the penal colony of Van Diemen's Land. The factory is located in Hobart and was operational between 1828 and 1856. The factory is now one of the 11 sites that collectively compose the Australian convict sites listed on the World Heritage List. It was intended to remove women convicts from negative influences and temptations of Hobart, and also to protect society from what seemed as their corruptive influence. The factory was located, however, in an area of damp swamp land, and with overcrowding, poor sanitisation and inadequate food and clothes, there was a high rate of disease and death amongst inmates. The harsh treatment of convict women is portrayed in the museum displays.
So this list behind me shows 376 infants that were born here, and 290 of them died. And actually records, look closely, so it records the name, date of birth. In this case, these ones survived. Death, stillborn, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 years, 10 months, 2 years, 2 days, 6 months, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 week, stillborn, 3 months, 2 years, 5 months, stillborn, 4 months. All the children that were born to convict women, taken away from them originally at 6 months, and then to try and stop the deaths in custody, they were taken from them at 9 months. That didn't stop them. The Tasmanian Museum and Art Gallery was established in 1846 by the Royal Society of Tasmania, the oldest royal society outside of England, and receives 400,000 visitors annually. The Antarctic exhibit examines the definitions, perceptions and mythology of Antarctica and the Southern Ocean. It explores the places, the people, the creatures and the phenomena that makes the great southern wilderness a world of its own. It also looks into the world of discovery since Douglas Mawson established the Australasian Antarctic Expedition from 1911 to 1914 and explored thousands of kilometres of previously unexplored regions, collected geological and botanical samples and made important scientific observations. Mawson was the sole survivor of the three-man Far Eastern Party which travelled across the Mertz and Ninnis glaciers, named after his two deceased companions. Their deaths forced him to travel alone for over a month to return to the expedition's main base. The thylacine, or Tasmanian tiger, is a now extinct marsupial, the last of its known species, having died at the Hobart Zoo in 1936, although a number of sightings have since been stated but never proven.
Constitution Dock is adjacent to other Hobart landmark areas, Victoria Dock, Salamanca Place and Battery Point, and former parts of the foreshore area of Sullivan's Cove. The dock consists of rock-walled marina and is normally used by pleasure boats, yachts and fishing boats, serving the city's fish market and restaurants. Constitution Dock is famous for being the rally point and party venue for the annual Sydney to Hobart yacht race, held from Boxing Day until yachts complete their 630 nautical mile journey from Sydney.
we got? Yeah. A few calamari rings and some chips. About it all. So, Flipper's cooked seafood down on Constitution Dock in Hobart. Just pick your fish and chips and grab some extras if you want them. Nice and fresh, right off the boats. Flesh.
Oh, nice.
Wow, that is good fish. Arthur Circus is a ring of old cottages surrounding an old village green at the heart of Battery Point. The cottages surrounding the village green of Arthur Circus was constructed for the officers of the garrison. Their small dwellings, probably originally consisting of just two main rooms when they were built in the 1840s. They are in stark contrast to the extravagant homes of their Battery Point neighbours. It was one of the earliest subdivisions in Australia, the land having been established by then Governor George Arthur in dubious circumstances in 1829. The land had been part of the original land grant belonging to the Reverend Robert Knopwood and later then sold to the then Lieutenant Governor George Arthur. However, there appeared to be some doubt as to the legality of the original location, and this caused Arthur to apply for a land grant for the area 7 years later. There are many other things that can be done around Hobart, including Mona, the Museum of Old and New Art, the Maritime Museum, the Convict Penitentiary, the Lark Distillery, and the Royal Tasmanian Botanical Gardens, all of which are worth a look. But unfortunately, we didn't have the time in Hobart before moving on to our next destination.
Hobart. Walking tour for us. We saw all the sights that we wanted to see. Salamanca Market. Bucket list. Tick. Done. Cascade Breweries. Still not convinced I like beer, but there is one there that gave me the shudders. Cascade Female Factory. That pulled on my heartstrings on the way females were treated back in the 1800s. Where to next? We go to Old Town Richmond and then on to Port Arthur. Another hike. Does Mike make the 10k hike? I may have broken him again. Who knows? I'm pushing him hard. Apart from that, like, subscribe, comment as you do, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Here we go.